I don't believe he fell for it.
I tricked you.
You big dummy. There's no squirrel.
Hi, Panther fans. So how we doing? It's Saturday afternoon. It's 55 degrees, windy and raining outside. We've got the remnants of that hurricane here. Fluffy's loving it. He's laying outside in the rain and the wind. So, we've got preseason game number 4 against Carolina. I'm going to put the lineup on the screen next to me. And, yeah. So look, since it's Saturday, and since clearly and understandably the Panthers they're just practicing, right? They're just throwing some stuff up against the wall, giving some guys one last opportunity to play in an NHL game before they're sent back to the AHL. So I get it, but since the Panthers have decided to clearly not take the game seriously, why should we? So I'm going to use this recap as an opportunity to practice some of the things that I need to practice for when it counts during the regular season. So the intermission segments might look a little bit different than normal. That's okay. You see the lineup. Don't worry. Come regular season, I just need to be in shape. I need to be good and clear and concise for the regular season. So I've got to practice a few things. So let's see how the game goes. Let's see how it goes.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1, go!
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
All right, I think Matt Kiersted's making this team. He looks pretty damn good today. Kiersted, what the hell are you doing? You just going to let Aho split you like that? Like I said, Kiersted's making this team. I guarantee it. 2 weak goals in the first period, Spencer. 2 weak goals. 2 of them. You don't deserve that contract, man.
Okay, so far the Panthers look like a ballerina on Prozac.
So we make the comeback. It's 3-2, and I text Stu and I say, "Hey, are you watching?" And he turns on the game. He had something else he was having to do, and he asked me, "How's it going?" And I said, "Spencer Knight did what he does. He gave up a couple of weak goals to start the game, and he's been solid ever since." 5 seconds later, he gave up the 3rd goal. I'm in midseason form.
Spencer, you forgot to put the storm shutters up at my condo, and my Sports Illustrated bikini magazine collection is ruined. I'm pissed. I just want to say that I think having a Sports Illustrated through collection is kind of sexist. I'm not with any of those guys over there.
All right, so Panthers lose 4-3. Not that bad considering Carolina, I'm not sure how many of their regular players were in the lineup, but they took this game seriously. I mean, it seemed like the Sebastian Aho line was on the ice all night, and they were not screwing around. They had the Carolina announcers said that they were running what they thought their 5-man unit for the power play, what they were going to start the season off. They were running those guys. And we had, you may as well have had me and Fluffy out there on the ice. Now, that's not to disparage those guys. Let's talk about what we saw. It was like 50 shots. Last count was 47-9. So that was the last time we heard the shot count. Okay, I'm going to go by guys that I saw basically nothing from tonight. Nothing different. Denisenko, Heponiemi continue to play invisibly when they're on the ice. I think if we're going to be making any kind of moves, I wouldn't be surprised to see one or both of those guys be moved for assets. It could not happen, but they don't really do anything that makes you go, oh, okay, we're starting to see this guy develop. Eetu Luostarinen was a beast out there, and the Canes announcers mentioned that. Don't forget, we got Luostarinen from Carolina in the Trocheck trade, and I'll say it again. During my season preview, I was trying to get Eetu Luostarinen to be on the second line at left wing, because we do have in him an open spot in the top six. He's playing like a man possessed out there. I don't know if Coach Maurice told him his job was in jeopardy or whatever, but he's been out there almost every night, and he is clearly, like today, was our best player on the ice. Let me. Spencer Knight looked as good as a guy I guess could look with 50 shots. He's not in mid-season form. Now, in the previous game, I had mentioned I thought he had worked on his puck handling skills. Today was not as good. There was a couple of times where he got stuck behind the net with the puck, and teams are aware of that. And that's my biggest concern if/when he takes over, is his puck handling. He tries to do too much, and he makes mistakes. What else did we see out there? Defensively, Delzato looked good enough. He did not have any glaring mistakes. He looked the part out there. Matt Kiersted is an enigma to me. I have not seen a guy who can look so good and so bad in the same game, sometimes in the same shift. He's like a guy that you see this potential in him, but then he does have a tendency where it might not even be his fault. The fourth goal is the example. I don't know if he's unlucky or what. He just is in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, a couple times before tonight, before this afternoon, he'd been attempting to clear a player out of the crease, and what he was really doing was effectively screening the goaltender, and the puck was in the back of the net. And then tonight, again, he was in front of the net. He was basically doing his job in decent position, and Burns puts the puck purposefully off of his skate, and it gets past Spencer. So I don't know if he's just one of those unlucky guys or whatever it is. He's a guy you try to root for because he looks like he's got potential. But then whenever there's a goal scored, excuse me, it seems like he's on the ice. Boteto had a couple of nice hits. He's somebody, he's a veteran guy. I'm sure he's going back to the AHL. Like I said, Delzato looked okay. Ludwig, I like this kid, okay? This is another guy. This is one of the guys that we might be looking at if and when we move on from Radko Gudas. He was clearing out the crease. Let's just put it that. There were a few times when I saw him putting guys on their back. In terms of the forwards, Balsers scored a goal, looked pretty good. Dalpe scored a goal. I like that kid. I think maybe not this year, but I think at some point in the future we will see him with the Panthers, I hope. He looks pretty good. I'm trying to go down. There was a lot of players that are not going to be on the roster. We'll just put it that way. But not, what was it, 9 shots? It wasn't a great effort. You could tell that it was not an evenly matched lineup. I'm not going to look at it, too concerning. I'm not going to be overly concerned. Now, a couple of things. Lucas Carlson's wife had a baby boy, I guess 2 days ago or yesterday. So that probably, hopefully, cross our fingers, explains why he hasn't played yet. In terms of Hornquist, Jameson Olive said that Maurice said he's dealing with something in his day-to-day. Now, that could feed into the idea that some people had that we could just put Hornquist on LTIR to fix our cap space. And, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is we're getting close to the point in time that something has to happen. And where we sit right now is when we put Duclair on LTIR, we have 12 forwards and 6 defensemen and about $480,000 in cap space. So we have enough players to ice a team and not enough money to even add Eric Stahl, Kiersted, etc. We have no money to add a guy to the roster. So that could happen. That could be a way that the Panthers are looking at it. Hornquist has not seen the ice. Carlson hasn't seen the ice. Coach said that on Tuesday against the Lightning, we're going to, I believe it's Tuesday, he said that we're going to see what's going to be the closest thing to our starting lineup that we've seen so far. So a lot of these questions will be answered then. As far as today is concerned, it's still 55 and rainy. I'm not going to look at this as anything other than what it was, which was a mostly AHL team playing a Carolina team that, again, I'm not sure how many of the regulars there were in, but the Aho line had its way with whoever was on the ice for the Panthers. Lefty was out there. He looked pretty good. He made a couple of nice, in fact, he set up the Lomberg goal. I should mention that. He looks the part. Again, I know some people had thought that he would make the team. I'm not entirely against that, but with everybody, you know, with Maurice, it seems to me like he really wants Eric Stahl on this team. He's said it and if you watched his eyes when he said the words, he has a genuine opportunity, or whatever words he used, you could see he wants him on this team. So I have a feeling that he's going to be the guy. Now, what interests me is if you do sign Eric Stahl, if you make him 4C, that does a couple of things. That does allow you to look at either Luosterainen or Lundell, or both of them, possibly at wing. Now, I know some people have said Reinhart doesn't like to play center. Don't leave out Nick Cousins. From what I'm seeing, I'm getting the feeling that Coach is going to try to load up the top 6, somewhat the top 9, and I have a feeling we're not going to see a lot of the fourth line when they're playing. That's just my take on it from what I'm seeing and from what he's saying. I know we enjoyed rolling the 4 lines. It kept Barkov fresh and all of that. That's one way to do it, but on the other end, man, if you had Lundell, you know, if you started with Barkov, Lundell, and Verhaeghe, and then you went with a second line of Bennett and Tkachuk and Luosterainen, that still leaves you Reinhart to be your third center. There's a lot of different ways that we could go. We're going to start finding out a lot more this week. I'm sure they're going to send more guys down after this game. And I'm not going to overreact. We don't look good, but we're not playing the team. This is not the product that's going to be on the ice. I think this is the week we're going to pretty much figure everything out in terms of what they're going to do with the cap and who's going to make it and who's not. So, should be a busy week. All right. Appreciate all the support. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button. Check out flyingfluffy.com. If you missed it yesterday, I did a video with Nick from Twisted Wrister. I talked a lot about the changes that the Panthers made and a few NHL anecdotes in there as well. Make sure you check that out. So, all right. Today's Saturday. I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow with something. They may send guys down. In fact, I know they're going to send guys because they said some of the Panthers were coming to Carolina and then they were just going to stay because they're going to Charlotte. So we should know more, maybe even by the end of today. So, all right. Appreciate all the support. I'll see you again tomorrow.